Welcome to the House of Belthorian. Today I'm going to do a short demonstration flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 around Frederick, Maryland, in an aircraft that's been designed from the ground up to work in Flight Sim 2024, which is the Cessna 172, which is one of the basic aircraft that you will train on in trying to get your private pilot's license. Now, one of the big differences between 2020 and 2024 is now you have the ability to do what's called a walkaround. And so there's various points on the aircraft that you have to interact with and check, just like you would a real aircraft. Now, to be clear, you would not be flying on a day like this. But, like once again, this is just a sim. So here's a good example of, something that they did not have in 2020, which is computational fluid dynamics and soft body physics. So you can see my pitot cover ribbon just flapping in the wind right there. Engine covers off. Here we're making sure our flight controls have full and free range movement. All right. First thing we're going to do is make sure we're on drawing off both fuel tanks, make sure our fuel valve is open. Now, just for the purposes of the sim, I'll make the yoke go away just to make it easier to see stuff. So let's make sure our mixture's in. Okay, throttle all the way back, probably crack her about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, we're going to turn on our master. Fuel pump for 3 seconds. Beacon light on. At this point, we'd yell out, "Clear prop." Engine started. Now we can turn on our avionics. Okay, we need to turn on our strobe, navigation, taxi lights. Because it's cold, we're going to turn on our pitot heat, cabin power.
Kilo Foxtrot Delta Kilo Airport information, Charlie 1700 Zulu. Wind 271 at 1 tree. Visibility, for in heavy rain. Sky condition. Ceiling 1,200 feet broken. Temperature, tree. Dew point, 1. Altimeter 2948.01. ILS runway 2 tree in use. Landing and departing runway 2 tree. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Charlie. Kilo Foxtrot Delta Kilo Airport information, Charlie 1700 Zulu. Wind 271 at 1 tree. Visibility, for in heavy rain. Sky condition. Ceiling 1,300 feet broken. Temperature, tree. Dew point, 1. Altimeter 2948.01. ILS runway 2 tree in use.
Okay, so I tuned into just, my airport to get the barometer reading that I need to set at to have a proper altitude, and just general information. We're going to go ahead and check flaps. Let's check to make sure all of our controls are free and clear. Okay, so I believe we are about ready to taxi.
Kilo Foxtrot Delta Kilo, traffic Cessna, November 8320, is taxiing to runway 2 tree.
Now again, once again, nobody's, in these small general aviation aircraft are going to be flying today. It is far too nasty for that. But, it's one of the benefits of the sim is we can practice flying in just about any condition. I really like, it's one of the things I do love about 2024 so far, is I do love the, you get to do the walk around, inspect your airplane. Now, these airplanes exist in the sim, within the sim, in something called a persistent state, meaning, it will accumulate, flight hours and wear and tear on the aircraft as I continue to fly it. So, eventually, things are going to come in as not so good, and you're going to have to do, maintenance, which, I'll be honest, I don't know how to do just yet because I haven't had, anything listed as bad so far. Okay, now before we go out and area here, and all right, parking brake on. What we're going to do is we're going to run her up to about 1700 RPM. Now, what we want to do is we come off both magnetos. We're just checking the left magneto, and we lose about 100 RPM, which is within tolerance. Back up to 1700. Go to the right magneto. Okay, about 110 RPM, that's within tolerance. All right, run up is complete.
Foxtrot Delta Kilo traffic Cessna, November 18-tree-20, taking off runway 2-tree, departing straight out.
I don't think the air traffic control is working correctly because the tower should have cleared me. It's cool here, so it's a combination, it's a mix of rain and snow here in Frederick today. And so, you know, I can actually hear the raindrops hitting the hitting the windshield, hitting the wings. And here's, you know, one of the cool things is with the new physics, I'm doing what's called crabbing. My nose is, you know, 15-20 degrees off the center line of the runway, but, you know, I'm still in forward flight. It is very bumpy, very windy. I'm getting tossed around in here pretty good.
Potomac approach Cessna, November 18-tree-20, is type Cessna Skyhawk, 2 miles southwest of Kilo Foxtrot, Delta Kilo, 700 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna November 18-tree-20, Potomac approach, squawk 5501.
Squawk 5501, Cessna Tree 20.
Here's Francis Scott Key Mall.
Cessna Tree 20 radar contact, 3 miles south of 7, Mike Delta Tree 900 feet. Altimeter 29.48.
Roger, Cessna Tree 20.
I like how you can see the water streaking down the sides of the windows. Nice effect. See the snow, hear the rain. Now for most like I said, most general aviation pilots who have a license in what's called VFR, Visual Flight Rules Training, they would not be allowed to fly today. If you had an instrument rating, maybe, but like I said, for VFR, not a chance that the tower would clear you to fly. In Flight Sim 2020, the stock Cessna 172, if I was flying in these same conditions, it would be flying perfectly straight and level. There'd be no nose yaw or any of that stuff. I've heard it described as flying on rails. Now there were add-ons that you could get that would greatly increase the realism. But once again, those are third-party programs and stuff you have to run to get the aircraft to try to behave in a more realistic manner. This is just stock out of the gate. Now, I'm going to
Kilo Foxtrot Delta Kilo traffic Cessna, November 1832, 5 miles northwest, 2,200 feet inbound to land runway 23.
And one of the things that, to me, really, makes Flight Simulator useful in pilot training is, when I took my discovery flight out of Frederick and we got up in the air, I knew exactly where I was the entire time. I was pointing out all these, oh, look, there's Braddock Heights, there's the Solar Farm, there's Dietrich. My instructor was looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like, well, to be fair, I said, I fly around this area in Flight Sim all the time. So it's like, I'm very familiar with it. Now, like in another sim, like X-Plane, I could take everybody who lives in Frederick, put them in the sim and over Frederick in like X-Plane 12, and there wouldn't be one person who could tell me where they were. It'd be, none of them could say definitively, oh yeah, this is Frederick airspace. It would just look like them, just some computer generated buildings and scenery, and they would have no bearing on real life. Here, especially for pilots training for visual flight rules, flying in real world in real life areas, the importance of that can't be overstated. And then with the the increase in the aircraft fidelity and systems and everything, Flight Sim 2024 literally makes like X-Plane obsolete at this point. Alright, so there's my runway. Getting ready to do my downwind. down one. Full flaps. Within the sim, I always use this farm as a good reference point for making my turn to get on final. Getting tossed around pretty hardcore here. You know, if I was in a real plane, I'd probably need to change my shorts, but it's a sim. Ooh, I bounced her. Oh, this is not good. Alright, well, that was a terrible landing. But, yeah, they say any landing you can walk away from, right? So at this point, oh, I screwed up. When I took off, I should have turned off my taxi lights and turned on my landing lights. I failed to do so. But on the positive side, that means I didn't have to turn off my landing lights and turn on my taxi lights on landing. Now the default airport that comes with 2024 for Frederick, it's better than the default in 2020, but it's still not as good as the custom-made airport. It had a user created that I downloaded off FlightSim TO. Like, that's the old air traffic control tower, which is 2 stories. That's the flight school that I went to for my my discovery flight. another one of the differences I've noticed between 2020 and 2024 is in 2020 when you landed, you could, oh, well, there's the scene right there, announce taxi to parking. I did not see that. So yeah, you would tell the
Kilo Foxtrot, Delta Kilo traffic Cessna, November 18320 is taxiing to parking.
But in 2020, the tower would tell you, what taxiways to come to parking. And there would be like ground crew there to guide you into your spot. Yeah, it was kind of nice. And like I said, they don't have that. And so they might at some point. I don't know. Point we will Alrighty, here we are. We are cold and dark. I was going to say, I hope you enjoyed this fun little flight in adverse conditions in the new Cessna 172 designed for Flight Sim 2024. Until next time, have a wonderful day.